together and find a one-sided game in their own way, but it just seems to be the way it's going. That's the trend.
Right off the bat, RNG, their first ban heading into game number 2 is going to be that Twist of Fate. They do not want Scout to pick that one up again. Karma's going to be banned out once more from EDG.
And again, we gave Rapid Star, the drafting coach for EDG, a bit of shade last game. You know, the last time EDG and RNG faced in a best-of-5, he really dropped the ball. They were beaten on draft multiple times. But frankly, it was RNG that really struggled last time. They got a great draft and they failed to execute. I like the adjustments that they're already making, taking away the Twisted Fate, taking away that Gangplank.
Yeah, Gangplank, another solo lane ban coming out from RNG. A lot of respect towards Mouse and Scout, the 2 new players for the EDG lineup, as Vitamin is going to be banned out once more from EDG.
Everyone gets one, right?
Yeah, I know, right? The next important pick that I really want RNG to focus on is the Ashe. They hovered it last time in second rotation, but didn't pull the trigger on it, immediately giving it to Def's hands. I want to see Uzi get his hands on that champion.
Yeah, see, that's my biggest concern coming into this second game's drafting phase, is how they actually picked their champions in their rotations. Twisted Fate was surprisingly early rotated, but it worked to an extent that it's now warranting a ban, so that's fair. They can do that again. RNG did not go for anything early. They went for the last pick, Caitlyn.
On top of that, only one AD carry ban coming out throughout this entire draft phase. Siva's going to be the final ban that comes out from EDG, and immediately Talia's going to be locked in for RNG.
But that's the really important thing. Before we even go down into Talia, which is a massive priority pick, I want to point out, like you said, it's only one AD carry. So Ashe is left up as well as the Jhin. Now, Jhin in the LPL never really fell out of favor. He was very popular before he ever got big on the global stage, and he's used in a very similar way as a pseudo Ashe. His ultimate being used as more so the utility of the slow as opposed to the execution damage. So the fact that EDG have opened up their options, if we don't get Ashe, we can go towards that Jhin.
Also just a better Caitlyn when it comes to sieging, like, to the meta, and it would make a lot more sense if RNG locked that one in with the composition they're now putting.
Well, we saw Rek'Sai banned out last match against RNG, immediately picked up here by Clearlove on the red side of Summoner's Rift. Mouse is going to go ahead and pick up Echo and show Looper how it's done on the top lane.
Now, Clearlove didn't have any of the global presence on the map. He was forced into that Elise pickup, but it didn't matter because he got a piggyback with Tahm Kench. This time around, his signature champion for most of the splits, Rek'Sai has that semi-global presence if she sets up her neural network of tunnels appropriately. And what's really cool about Clearlove on Rek'Sai is, I say this all the time, the true successor to Wei Xiao wasn't an AD carry, it was Clearlove. What Wei Xiao was very famous for was how he would trim and create the 6th man on the map, that slow push with waves. Watch Clearlove in side lanes when he has global presence on a Rek'Sai. He'll get his Tiamat, he'll turn it into a Hydra, and he'll sit there and he'll push waves and create pressure points for his team.
Well, we're still waiting to see what the next 2 lock-ins are going to be for RNG. MLG was hovering over the Hecarim. We already saw how he was talking about how he's the bigger Hecarim than Clearlove, and he's still holding on to that Ghost of Smite, so it's still a possibility later on, but they do lock in Nah as the top lane pick for Looper, and they take the Tahm Kench away from Mako.
Yeah, I'd mentioned this at the end of the last game. Nah is one of the champions we're expecting to see much more of as the series progresses. Of course, the Game 1 cheese is out of the way, and the Tahm Kench respect taken away from EDG.
We haven't seen a lot of Mata on Tahm Kench. Mata more so known for his Alistar as well as his Braum in the LPL. So very curious how it's going to happen. It does fit right in that wheelhouse of, you know, the RNG win condition. The bot lane just needs to survive. So Mata can very quickly reposition Uzi, pull him back into safety, as well as help shot call with his TP ability.
I like the concept of the shot caller having Tahm Kench just so you can eat people that are out of position. If you want to disengage, you're like, nope, we're going back. Or if you're going in, it's nope, we're going in.
Makes plenty of sense that Mata be picking up that champion, as Uzi's going to go ahead and lock in Jhin. So it's Jhin and Tahm Kench in the bottom lane, but on the flip side, it's your favorite lane, Frostco, and it's the mustache lane of Ashe and Braum for Deft and Mako.
And if Mata is known for his Braum, Mako specializes in this champion. There's actually a bit of a joke going around that Clearlove made the statement that Mako said no one can be bad at Braum, and Clearlove said Mata, and Mako goes, that's just because he misses his cues.
Followed by a highlight of Mata missing every single cue possible in a match. As this time around, MLG is going to be picking up the Elise, so going to be taking that into the jungle against Clearlove.
One other thing, you already mentioned this, Clearlove has the propensity to sit in side lanes and start to push it with Tiamats. It also unlocks the middle laner to play something like the Cassiopeia, the Syndra, the Zed, the Assassin that can actually kill you because he doesn't have to split push.
And reminder, Scout, former sub and backup to Faker on SKT, he was very well known for his Zed in Korea. He did get to play that in the Kespa Cup when he got his debut, so this is not a champion that he's unfamiliar with. This is kind of a signature pick, although he has not played with it in the LPL.
He has not. This has normally been a pick that Pawn would be picking up. Even Twisted Fate, a champion that we normally see Pawn pick up for EDG, who's not playing due to his back injuries, but Scout, he's been a fantastic player for EDG throughout this entire summer split.
And that's the brilliance. Again, everyone looks at Mouse and says, this guy has stepped up huge for the team, you know, taking the place of Cora, the former captain of EDG, but it's really been Scout and how versatile he's been. He came in with the reputation of being an assassin player, immediately went to the wave control picks, filled more of that unstoppable 2014 role for EDG, now taking the Zed in the grand finals, as well as having an incredible performance on Twisted Fate in Game 1. Scout is really shining, while Xiaohu is taking a step back.
We're going to see how he's going to be able to use this Zed in the mid lane here. EDG, a very different team composition going into this match. Not as much global pressure as they had in game number 1, but still a fair amount with the Ashe as well as the Rek'Sai. RNG as well, changing things up. They've got the Talia pick that we said will be very heavily contested coming into this best of 5 series.
Yeah, absolutely right. So the Talia's picked up, but Scout seems to have an answer. This is a second draft phase that's gone quite peculiar in the way of EDG with a very unique strategy.
The strategy always has been that if you have a roaming mid laner to take either the Syndra, the Cassiopeia, or in this case that Zed, saying that you're going to be able to push me in, but I'm going to lock you underneath your own tower with the kill threat.
This time around as well, LMSG is going to be picking up the Elise. We saw last game picking up the Gragas, going into the Elise, was not able to catch up Clearlove, find him in his own jungle and make sure he can't have that impact that we saw him have in game number 1. So hopefully with the Elise this time around, could be a little bit more aggressive.
Yeah, you expect to see some more aggression. RNG once again going a rotation-heavy team fight composition. Their opposition EDG still a little bit creative. The Ashe for the pick, the Braum to round that out, and Scout to assassinate. Still the same flavors, the same styles in this second.
They have all the tools, but now it's up to their solo laners to see if they can actually execute on this time for RNG.
Let's see if they can. We saw EDG solo laner step up huge in that first match, and just like game number 1, it's going to be an Infernal Dragon that spawns first here in game number 2, a specialty of the LPL playoffs, it seems.
Yeah, deja vu of game number 1 all over again.
So quickly touching back on these compositions. Again, they're very similar to what we saw in Game 1. I think a key difference, though, for EDG, though, is where they have their semi-global presence. So again, it's not in the hands of Scout anymore, it's in the hands of Clearlove, and how that'll change, impact the map and the pressure that they apply. Still, though, they have a strong possibility of running a 1-3-1, especially if Scout and Mouse are able to get ahead on these picks.
Now though, Scout and Xiaohu just having a little bit of a dance battle in the mid lane. Scout, you know, a little bit unfair there, brings his shadow to the party. 2v1, not fun.
Now they have a ward here, EDG, on the enemy Krugs. They might still make a move for this. Whether it's a steal or a fight, we're about to find out.
Seems like they're moving for
level
it.
1.
Deft and Mako looking to try and wrap around Mata and Uzi. Already went to the clubs. Deft being tagged. He gets exhausted. So does Deft though. As Uzi now trying to run away. Does take the small Krug for himself.
Big
now
crit,
Deft
actually.
taking a lot of damage. Has to be careful. Mata might be able to eat him up. He's trying to run away and kite out of this one. Here comes Sal. This is a sloppy fight between the two. They both flash away. Mako's being eaten up. Uzi reloads. Mako has to flash away. Uzi decides not to flash forward. And summoner spells burnt from everyone here as only Uzi retains his flash.
Rusty said it best. These bot laners will never take a step back. They are always going to take a step forward. These two want to prove we are the best bot lane in the LPL. The only remaining flash is on Uzi.
That was insane. They really wanted to give it to each other there. EDG had the way in, but Def had to flash out and kind of just abandoned Mako to his own devices. The crit from Uzi, that's a big determining factor.
The fact that we went through 2 rotations of all 4 of Jin's bullets was pretty massive in that trade.
So now Uzi retains his flash. We'll have to see if he can use it effectively, but here comes Clearlove into the mid lane. Xiao flashes away. Clearlove's right on top of him. Scout's going to get exhausted. Puts the Ignite down. The seismic shove knocks Scout forward. He picks up first blood. And suddenly, LXG's here as well. Mako's going to throw the winner's fight. He picks up the kill. 2 kills for EDG.
Scumbag Mako walks away with the double buff. Not necessarily best case scenario, but hey, guys, I wanted the assist.
In a bottom lane with no summoner spells, you got to take it for what it's worth. This this time around. Yes, Mako might have stolen that kill, but he was actually looking to try and ensure that Clearlove stayed alive because he was one hit off dying.
And that's also back-to-back games where Clearlove's first gank has been in the mid lane. Again, EDG have a very clear formula. It makes them very telegraphed, and Clearlove is mixing that up on the final stage.
Clearlove making full use of the fact that Talia shoves out very early there as well, getting around the back, forcing the flash. And when she again being reactive, it this time around pays for it with his life as well. And already very early on, Scout gets a kill for himself on the Zed, has the null magic mantle, picked up 2 long swords as well. Eventually, this might become a tough lane for Xiaohu.
Yeah, definitely could be. The most unfortunate thing was that Xiaohu knocked them towards him to get the last blow instead of knocking them away. Things might have been different for RNG there.
Bit of a power play for RNG. MLXG trying to take away this blue buff.
Is able to get the smite away from Clearlove. Successfully sneaks in towards the blue buff around the vision.
So communication has been weak between RNG's solo laners and their jungler, but it still is looking very strong between them and their bot lane. Mata and Uzi pressuring the way forward, keeping Deft and Mako locked in, and opening enough space for MLXG to get some sort of counterplay when it's all said and done.
To move back down towards that bottom lane. It seems like Jin's going back to base rather early here, picked up 2 long swords for himself. Deft and Mako fairly even in CS. Still deciding whether they're going to go back to base. They're actually waiting inside the brush, trying to see if they can catch someone out.
Well, they would like to hang around a bit longer to get to that BF sword. They do have the possibility, though, because it is Ashe and Jin to look for the long swords.
It's a possibility. The thing is, getting that early recall in and having an extra couple of long swords means generally your lane pressure will now increase and you should push EDG out of the lane. They're just holding on in a risky position because let's say MLXG shows up to the party.
It seems like RNG just trying to hold this wave as much as possible. The bottom side of Summoner's Rift is Clearlove looking to find MLXG, spots the spider out, forces him out of his jungle.
Very different heat map already for Clearlove between Game 1 and Game 2, spending a lot of time on MLXG's side of the jungle, as now that they know where Clearlove is, bot lanes again go back to skirmishing and slugging it out.
Yep, Mata and Uzi trying to make the most out of their early buy, still freezing away against Deft and Mako, making it hard to farm. Make sure that Uzi can freeze wherever he possibly can. It's
done now for EDG. They do have to go back. No mana available for Deft, no summoner spells. You don't want to get caught out and just die.
Scary thing is going to be the experience advantage for Scout. He will beat Talia to level 6, which means that kill threat is just more looming.
Let's see it now.
And already you can see, normally Talia's shoving out very early on, trying to get the wave underneath their opponent's turret. This time around, Xiaohu is farming underneath his own turret. A Scout is relentless in pressure after picking up first blood.
Clearlove has all the options in the world. He's looking now bottom because Uzi and Uzi and Mata are far forward, but with so much advantage in the mid lane, he can invade MLXG at any corner he wants.
Deft and Mako yet to go back to base, decided to cancel that one out, so a huge CS lead at the moment for Uzi. Approaching 20 CS over Deft.
Yeah, and it's just incredibly weak right now from the side of EDG. They will go back to base and potentially have an item advantage when they go back.
He's so greedy for that BF sword.
Exactly. Not only that, you can see MLXG posturing near this side of the map, recognizing that why would they stay? Probably because Clearlove's here.
And we've seen a lot of AD carries in the LPL kind of fall back to an Infinity Edge rush versus the Essence Reaver. We'll keep tabs on Deft to see if he goes that route, but I can't really imagine trying to hang on so long in this lane for that BF sword power spike if you weren't going to immediately itemize into the battle stat of the crit versus the CDR of the Essence Reaver.
Well, we saw last game Deft on his Ashe decided to go for an Infinity Edge. We'll have to check in later and see if things change for game number 2. Let's move back towards the mid lane. A small CS lead at the moment for Scout as Clearlove still going to try and take blue buff away from Xiaohu.
Yeah, he's had vision there for quite a while, even uses his ultimate to get to it. That's absurd.
Yeah, that's a lot of damage. Xiaohu, the double shuriken comes out with the Thunderlord's proc from Zed, immediately chunks him down to half health, forcing him to go back to base.
Which is empowering this confidence for Clearlove to continue to amass more farm over MLXG. 23 to 37, that's massive, even before you take in the 2 assists that Clearlove's toting.
He's just taking camp after camp away from LSG, who is yet to hit level 6. Clearlove now level 7, 2 levels
so far
up
behind
over this Elise, and not a strong start once again for RNG.
And I feel like that has to come back to the solo lanes. RNG, Xiaohu, and Looper really being exposed and splintered and bleeding into the jungle.
It's interesting how this is panning out as well. The only reason Looper is having a, I'm not going to say bad time, he's still doing well in this top lane.
Got a CS lead.
The only reason that he's not outright winning is because he has to rotate because MLXG is being invaded. And I think this just comes back once again to Xiaohu, who's just not having the best start to his series.
Well, so far we've yet to see either top laner use their teleport across the map, just using it to get back into the lanes for now. Smarter actually taking a bit of damage from Deft and Mako here, unless she is waiting in the wings.
But the longer nothing happens, the stronger EDG get. We do have both junglers posturing on the bottom side of the map, but right now, EDG are just naturally and organically winning pretty much every lane.
And both teleports
other than top.
Both teleports are coming back up shortly for the top lane as they go aggressive.
Wow.
Mata going to get eaten up by Mako here. As there goes Clearlove, gets to jump onto Mata, pops the grey health, Deft dealing a lot of damage, picks up the first kill in this skirmish. Now they've tagged Uzi. The ultimate comes out from Ash. They flash forward. Double kill for Deft. They trade one back by taking out Mako, but the Instinct with Spider has to come back down eventually. Mouse will use his ultimate to get back to safety as Lupa completes his teleport, trying to get back down to the bottom lane. They even have the mid laners joining this fight as well. Xiaohu and Scout are both down here, but the damage has already been done. EDG take down RNG's bottom lane.
Yeah, Lupa being mega might be enough to actually deter them. Mid lane is still rotating at the same time is actually just credit to Scout because he's there, whereas the Weaver's Wall is available for Xiaohu. And now being very coy in his movements, but this all just comes back to EDG playing around their bottom lane incredibly well. Mako's death was not in vain. He did that team fight so well.
And again, some miscommunication between Mata and MLXG. Didn't look like they were on the same page trying to set up that gank. They thought it was going to be a 4v4 because both teleports came in, but RNG fall down once again.
Has Def missed an arrow like this series?
Not yet.
I don't think one has missed.
Well, when you're throwing them at point blank range.
Doesn't matter.
And this is a champion we expected Uzi to be picking up quite frequently in the series as well. Deft has played a lot of Ashe, but it is known to be one of Uzi's stronger champions.
Hold on though, Xiaohu now looking towards top. Does have his Weaver's Wall available.
Yeah, also working around pink ward vision, so if he did go in, no one would know. However, it can be assumed, given that Scout is at the enemy turret, saying that he's not here.
And again, the more that Xiaohu suffers, the more it actually impacts RNG's vision as a whole. He's the second primary warder for the team, so the longer that he spends dead means that the less vision and information they're able to place on the map.
So Infernal Dragon still being left untouched by the two teams. Clearlove still has MLXG's jungle in mind as he moves down towards the red side of the Spider's jungle, looking to try and take as many camps away as possible. He's over 25 CS up ahead of this Elise.
The shoe's on the other foot in this series at the moment. Clearlove has been finding MLXG consistently, stopping him from being sporadic with his gank paths and preventing any unique and different plays at all.
As he's also started up this Infernal Dragon. Pings coming out from both teams towards the pit.
They went into overdrive in stopping him from getting that.
This was a mistake. So many pings. Mata, calm down.
Sanji still pushing on the bottom side of the map in towards EDG's turret, but it seems like Deft and Mako very happy with just freezing the lane where it is at.
It's just a really tense moment. Deft has his arrow back up and available. They have the advantage in the mid lane.
There's a Coda call though, so they have Mata and MLXG down on the bottom side of the map. He gets eaten up. And MLXG has to repel. Mako still alive. The tongue lash will take it down, but look at Def going aggressive forward. He has backup though because both Clearlove and Scout are now down into the bottom lane. Uzi might have to try and keep themselves fighting. The Weaver's Wall is just not quite long enough. Uzi gonna get hit by the Def bar, taking a lot of damage. Def already picks up one kill. He's going for another. Scout gets the double kill in the bottom lane. And EDG get 4 picks, only trading Mako.
Disaster for RNG. They effectively just ran headfirst into a brick wall and threw away 2 more lives. EDG now have complete control of the bottom lane, 3-0 and 2 on Deft. He is massive and can itemize whatever direction he wants. Eye-Edge, Essence Reaver, the world is his.
And absolute confidence from Deft in particular is the difference there. Mako keeps dying, but he is the sacrificial lamb to find EDG's team fight victories. Only 2 kills for RNG, both Mako, and every single time he goes down, Deft gets the better end of the deal.
EDG of the whole have been playing fantastic in this series so far. Already They're about 4,500 gold up ahead of RNG just 13 minutes into this game. Picked up another first dragon, Infernal Dragon, with an Ocean Dragon spawning next. 2 to 8 in terms of kills. They look unstoppable.
And you know, there was a lot of question marks coming into game 2. When you look at the semifinals from both RNG and EDG, they're eerily similar. Hold on, let's take a look at that replay.
And once again, keep your eyes peeled on Def, because the way that he positions and plays this one is incredible. Knows from this point somehow that he is aware MLXG is in a position to die. He's got his team rotating, and it's the scout show past this point, because Deft and Mako have paid their dues.
Meanwhile, in the live game, there's another skirmish happening over red.
Yeah, you can already see on the bottom left-hand side of your screen, EDG finding more, EDG finding more members of RNG, getting another 2 picks while that replay was going on.
And Clearlove's now joined the party, picking up 2 kills for his own. And again, if you go back to the semi-finals for WE versus EDG and RNG versus IMA, it was pretty much a roller coaster that both mirrored. Game 1, RNG and EDG both smashed. And then the middle of the series is this wash of just absolute struggle street.
That's now looking for another fight. Def gonna get a lot of damage on towards Mata. Exhaust has been used on the Uzi. Will get eaten up by the Tom Kench, trying to run back to safety. They pin down Mata. They get the first kill. And then looking for Uzi. There's Clearlove. The Rek'Sai getting the flank. Scouts down here as well. That's a dead Uzi, and Clearlove picks up the kill.
But what are Mata and Uzi thinking being that far forward?
I'm more impressed that Scout is always here. He's the assassin playing against the rotational mid laner, yet every single time EDG are making a play on the bottom lane, it may be reactive to the moves from RNG, but it's always successful.
And the communication, the fact that Scout's able to be right place, right time every single time. This guy, you know, stepping in for Pawn, hasn't played with this roster lineup very long. This is a single split of experience.
But he has been playing fantastically for EDG so far. Not only in this series, throughout the entire summer split, when he was playing as Cedar Pawn, who had those back injuries, looked phenomenal. Even going into the playoffs, Scout, you know, had a disappointing performance, but still a strong carry for the side of EDG.
I just love how he's pretty much reinventing himself right now. In terms of his LPL career, again, in Korea, he was always known as being this assassin player. He was the, you know, the protege behind Faker. But to see him finally take the Zed pick in such a high-pressure situation, I mean, obviously Game 2, Game 1, you smashed, you're up, so you can take that gamble and roll that dice, but taking the Twisted Fate, being a key playmaker there, and then pulling out the Zed, hats off to Scout.
And I hate to say it, Xiaohu is a great player. He's had a great split.
He's having an awful
series. He is having a horrendous split, as now they're going on RNG again.
Yeah, EDG looking to get the gank on towards the bottom lane. Uzi and Mata in trouble. This is deja vu for the entire series, as Mata's going to be first to fall. Uzi falls shortly after. This time around, it's Def that picks up the double kill.
We're watching reruns of a TV series over and over, apparently. RNG are still now trying to trade. Finally, they get towards the top side and get a turret, perhaps. EDG one step ahead, though. It will be first turret blood.
Yeah, and in response, like you said, EDG needs to make sure that they answer the structure. So the only saving grace are the table scraps for first brick there, but falling farther and farther behind.
But still, this is just deja vu to game number 1. We talked about this before this series even started. EDG, they want to single out Uzi and Mata. They want Clearlove to get into that bottom lane, and they've just been getting gank after gank into that bottom lane. Mata, he's 1-4. Uzi's 0-4.
They're about to go topside as well. It's not just bottom lane that's about to be hemorrhaging. There goes Scout.
Yeah, one lane now affecting the rest. EDG definitely needs to be a little bit careful.
The wall will come up from Mako, keep the AD carry alive. He sidesteps that seismic shot, but here's the top lane. They're looking to try and get the gank towards MLG as well as Looper. There's the death mark being popped. Clearlove's left to deal with the spider. Looper now in trouble as the assassin gets a lot of damage down. It's just not quite enough as Tom Kench makes his way up. Xiaohu and Mata moved up towards top side of the map. Clearlove stands his ground. He wants to go for the fight.
Big.
It's 3-on-2, but he doesn't care. Does get exhausted. Flash shot to Looper. Stand behind Brom, says Mako, as he comes to save the day. And EDG get 2 picks at the top lane.
I mean, is Mata getting paid for his free delivery service that he's providing to EDG?
That was a lot of work from Clearlove, though. Scout already showing that he's just a fantastic Zed player. It goes without saying, what we're seeing right now is a mechanical display of brilliance from EDG everywhere.
It's also an organized and synergy display of brilliance. Like the communication so on point for EDG, not just in their macro movements about how they're moving around on the map, but in their target selection and priority. The fact that they're making the calls, Deft is setting up that kill bottom. You know, oh, you got M like she, you can tag him. Deft, I'm leaving you this kill. In top lane now, Scout, do you have this? No, Clearlove, fall back, pick this up, I'm on Gnar. It's just so beautifully juggled and organized.
And it's given EDG a 7,000 gold lead in game number 2, just 18 minutes in. And like you said, Rusty, that's going to make it 8 as they take down the mid lane outer turret.
And question has been answered if this was going to be another mirror from the semifinals. And it's no. This looks like right now it's back-to-back stomps for EDG.
But still feels like a very similar story from what we saw during cross-conference. Every match that RNG and EDG have played during the summer split have just been one-sided victories. Game 2 looks to continue that trend.
The dangerous thing as we came into the first game of this series, all right, they won pretty heavy-handed. It was a good win from EDG. Come into the second game and adjusted. They bend everyone out. NMLXG.
They're still looking to fight here, Rusty. This time around, the Weaver's Wall is going to be coming out from Xiaohu. Good damage comes out from Scout. EDG decide not to pull the trigger.
Well, they're not trapped in there with them. RNG are trapped in there with EDG. Wisely back off.
As EDG use this time to start up the Ocean Dragon, that will be taken down with ease, and RNG do not even contest for this elemental Drake.
And again, coming into the second game, I have to reiterate, they banned everything that worked against them in game number 1, RNG. Yet, the exact same thing has happened twice in a row.
Because the issues weren't necessarily the champions, it was the execution. And again, Xiaohu and Looper being unable to perform. And also Mata and Uzi, you have to look and criticize them a bit, constantly being so far forward against Deft and Mako when they already have such a far lead.
Clearlove looking to still steal away this blue buff, does get picked up by Xiaohu. Suddenly, MLXG's on top of the spider, but on the top side of the map, hello, Looper just gets picked off by Deft and Mako.
Nothing Looper can do. He is a little bit too deep, to be perfectly honest with you, but EDG with absolute control.
And here's that 1-3-1. Anytime Zed is on a composition, this opens up, especially when he's 5-0-3. It's a free structure as well as a free kill across map. RNG are hemorrhaging.
I feel like, okay, suddenly there's a Tom Gage to the bottom lane, looking to try and get a gank on towards Scout. Xiaohu going to try and take this guy down. There goes the ultimate coming out. He's going to be able to get away. Dodges all the bullets coming out from Jin except for the final crit shot. He's still trying to go toe-to-toe against Marta. The Tom Gage will spin him out. Xiaohu should be able to pick up the kill. Forces a flash, though, coming out from the Tom Gage.
He had 2 ways to play that, as EDG are now trading the Baron throughout this. He could have ran, or he could have fought. He chose to fight, and this is why.
Well, they've got 4 men on this Baron. She's just behind the pit, looking to go for that smite steal. Reminiscence of game number 1. There's the first arrow miss coming out from Def. Let's see if he goes into repel, comes out, trying to get into the pit, has to flash on, he gets it! MLXG, Mana Southquad steals the Baron away from EDG, and suddenly there's a Mega Gnar in the back of the pit. They take down 3 members of EDG, and they get the Baron buff.
Game number 1, Clearlove was confident enough that he could pull that off. Game number 2, he was wrong. This is a huge wave for RNG.
Uzi flashes over the wall. RNG showing that there are no pushovers as they fight back at the Baron pit.
And they can delete this structure. Massive swing of power for RNG. They're right back in this.
We were waiting. There was a big goal deficit. EDG were absolutely in control. But RNG have a massive team fight composition. And this is the difference between game 1 and 2, is the Baron is actually just outright taken. Mako swaps positions, big accident, saves his own skin, and RNG bring that goal back.
And off the back of a fantastic play from Scout, EDG just say RNG, go long and chuck it downfield.
And one was moving towards a 10,000 gold lead for EDG is now shrunk. They're now 4,000 gold lead, still have that gold advantage, but for the next 2 minutes or so, RNG have a Baron buff to work with to try and take down more structures against EDG.
I will say easier said than done, for what it's worth. EDG still have map control. The Baron will help them get map control. They could get closer to turrets, but I'd say ideally it's just Looper that takes one down if he can deal with Scout.
And we talked about, you know, kind of how these compositions really need to siege. Xiaohu also needs to perform well using that Weaver's Wall and blocking people off from these structures. Again, Jin is decent at taking down towers through his massive crit damage, but he's still really reliant on that slow auto attack set.
Sanji look to congregate down towards the bottom side of the map as 5 still pushing for these structures. EDG still have Mouse, but pushing on the top side of the map. This structure's going to fall nice and easy.
Big wave.
For RNG.
Yeah, it's Mouse trying to trade now. Scout's not in the right lane to actually Split push means he wants to be here to help defend. Zed does have wave clear.
Here comes Echo, so
Echo
TP being burned.
Is going to be teleporting in. Lupa's going to be turning into Minina. You kind of teleport back. Or forward in time a little bit.
I feel like I can see the future. It didn't look like this.
Well, they didn't get the turret.
Yet. So it's now at half health. EDG sending multiple members back to base. Now it's going to try and come down. There's the Curtical coming up from Uzi just to try and create some distance for RNG as they look to continue sieging in that turret. Incredibly low, but there's the engage. EDG go in. MLG has to repel to avoid damage. Big seismic shove. Going to be coming up from the Talia. They're still chasing them down. Mouse forced to use the ultimate to get away. Blinking health bars on EDG. Xiao who takes down Mouse. That's 2 kills for RNG.
They're
the Weaver's
caught.
Wall catches them off. They're stuck between a rock and a hard place as Uzi gets the crit shot on towards Mako. That's 3 members of EDG down.
And just from the claws of defeat, essentially, RNG are now bringing themselves within 3,000 gold. Another team fight victory. This is incredible.
And welcome to the series, Xiaohu. His Talia play, at least in these last 2 team fights, has been spot on. Not only catching them with the Weaver's Wall, but brilliantly kiting back and layering the damage. The excellent thing about Talia is she's one of the few champions that does damage as she kites backwards, which means that when Krylov goes to be aggressive, thinking he's a god like that, she can punish him.
I do hope we get a replay, but one of the craziest things that actually happened in that was Scout didn't even get to press his ulti, but during that time, when he couldn't press R, he got Gnar ulted and exhausted. So RNG are on the ball.
It took them a while to get back into this game, Rusty, but game number 2, once that Baron got sold away by MLXG, RNG put pedal to the metal as they turn on the heat against EDG, and now still gold leaders in EDG's hands. They still have room to work with, but RNG, they're not out anymore.
It's really now about resetting mentality. Like you said, they are within touching distance. An Infernal Drake will be spawning in 27 seconds.
Yeah, it'll be the second one that EDG picks up if they're able to get in here, but RNG have absolute control. Scout's not having the same impact that he did in the early game. He's also unable to split push as effectively as he would like, as Clearlove's in trouble.
Caught him out. Lupa still mini-nuts. Clearlove will take his tunnel back to safety now. Gonna go back to base here, probably use his ultimate to get in towards this Dragon Pit.
If they contest it, Uzi should be setting up his traps and those choke points.
It appears they want to.
There goes Clearlove around the backside of this pit. Mouse moving in aggressively. There's the Curtical coming out from Jin.
Oh,
Ash
right
arrow
on Jin.
lands right on top of him. Marta has to eat up him, and EDG has just chased him down. Lupa is Mega, gets a Mega Gnar on towards Mouse and Mako. Scout going to the back lines, gets exhausted. Back onto Uzi, trying to take him down. Can't get quite that last tick of damage, but Mouse, he's stealing work. Uzi's gonna fall, and EDG, they're fighting back once again. Xiaoyu tries to kite away, has to flash out. Marta eats up the rack side, but Def still chases them down. Will sidestep the seismic shove. Mouse going huge in the backlines, gets the triple kill. He's looking for the quadra kill. Xiaoyu's gonna fall, and Mouse comes out massive for EDG as they get the ace against RNG.
And they've got the wave behind them immediately pinging to break that inhibitor line. Yes, Xiaohu is finally performing, but it doesn't matter because Scout is doing so much work in these back lines.
And if they just did it 10 minutes earlier, they wouldn't have an 8-1 Ashe to contend with. This team fight was just so simple to execute on if you're Def. The Jin ultimate doesn't have to be dodged because the arrow connected, so he gets the better of the ult trade. And this is definitely the Mouse show, but look at Def. He's just barely touched. He's able to kill Lupa and just work around the map so easily.
And meanwhile, Scout in the back line is absorbing so much attention from both Xiaohu and Uzi, eventually helping take that Jin down and allowing Def to just, walk in the park, eat through RNG's front line.
Yeah, Zed was buying a lot of time for them. Didn't get the kills, but did enough damage. And again, very effective play. Xiaohu has shown up, but it could be a too little too late scenario as EDG finally get that momentum back.
Well, once again, RNG look to try and take down this Infernal Dragon. This time around, they should be able to take it as no members from EDG are near that pit. They all head back to base to pick up their items. The next Dragon to spawn is going to be another Infernal Dragon, so a big fighting objective for these two teams. But EDG have now secured themselves a 6,000 gold lead.
They do sack it. It's unfortunate for EDG. They have to give away the Infernal Drake, but the number one priority is the Baron buff that's up in 18 seconds. And so Clearlove steals and sets up a blue to get vision alongside it.
Yep, they've got better position here, as well as the Hawk shot spotting out RNG in the mid lane. With the arrow back off of cooldown, it now comes down to who's going to get picked off from RNG.
Well, they have scouts split pushing on the top side of Summoner's Rift. For RNG, it's Looper that is pushing out the waves on the bottom side. He does have his teleport available. Have to see if he can juggle his Mega Gnar effectively as we go in towards this next Baron fight, if Energy decide to take it.
You have to look towards Mouse. Is he going to go match the bottom lane and push it out? Because teleports are available, meaning that Scout would then be on the top side of the map, and that's a really delicate place to sit. Means that this Zed will not be split pushing. He will be involved in these skirmishes and in these fights.
Vision becoming that much more important, especially as we play around Fog of War. Again, Scout, he's going to be in the skirmishes. He needs to make sure he can get to that back line.
There's the Weaver's Wall, though, as well as the Jhin ultimate coming out. Ash Arrow going to land once again. Deft has been a sniper to the sniper so far. Scout looking to try and get into the back lines. Going toe-to-toe against MLSU to start things off. Forced to use the Shadow to get back to safety. Uzi has been jumped on. Looper trying to peel, but so far it's Mouse that gets the first kill in this fight. Uzi's still left untouched, but so is Deft. They're both going to get an exhaustion. EDG are collapsing. RG incredibly low on health. They're running for the hills. They're chasing down the carries, but EDG find 2 picks against RG and ping towards the Baron.
That was a delicate fight for EDG to play out. There was 2 flanks from RNG, and they were pressuring them throughout, but they make it work. They get the collapse, and they take out enough members of RNG to look towards this. However,
there's a teleport coming in. Looper's going in, can't get it. It's this time the smite will secure the Baron. As Looper still has to fight his way out of this pit. Deft and Mouse kiting back away. It's a 3-on-5, but low health bars for EDG means they just take the Baron buff and get the heck out of there.
Everyone's fine. We all backed away. Looper, you gonna get cheeky? No, he's fine.
wondering where his friends are as they all just ran away from him in different directions. EDG running the scatter comp. Get the Baron, get that gold lead again. Should get a big item spike. And this is actually just Mouse popping off.
It's also big because Looper did use his TP to try to get revenge and peel off some of those Barons, which means that through the duration of the Baron buff, Looper will not be able to play cross-map.
Mouse has even picked up a Magi Soul Stealer here. I mean, he picked up MVP in game no one. Now he's being a little bit rude with that pick.
I mean, when you've got 10 stacks on a Dark Seal, you just happen to have 1,000 gold in your inventory.
Echo's already a difficult champion.
Not to.
Echo's already a difficult champion to kill, Rusty. He's got his ultimate. Now he's got a Guardian Angel as well. That Magi Soul Stealer are going to be heavily protected by this Echo.
He's actually trying to figure out what he wants for his last item. Probably should be that Randuin's.
Would make sense to be picked up against Jhin. Does have the guaranteed crit on his 4 shots.
Thank you, Fish.
But EDG are now 8,000 gold in the lead against RNG. Back to kind of where they started, so to speak, before MLG got the Baron steal. So they look strong trying to come back into the game, but EDG once again just trying to close the front door as fast as they possibly can.
Yeah, momentum-wise, they actually have the Baron this time, EDG, so you'd expect map control to be theirs. And if they have that map control, you'll watch them go to this bottom lane. The inhibitor is theirs for the taking with no turret. If this fight is successful, they'd rotate mid, then top.
Well, the inhibitor turret was taken down previously, so EDG just waltz in towards RNG's base, take down the inhibitor for themselves, nice and easy. Still have the Baron buff to work with, and it seems like they're moving towards the mid lane to take down the mid lane inner turret and work towards the mid lane inhibitor turret next.
They need to be very respectful here, RNG, because that Ash Arrow is still up.
The reason I say go mid then top as well is the minion wave has been set up from Mouse earlier. It's a big stack.
Power Convergence coming in from Mouse. We're going to try and get the flank on towards MLG Xiao. Use the protobelt to get back to safety. Mako does get Seismic shoved onto the uneven ground, taking a bit of damage, but EDG's just shrug it off and then move exactly to where you expected them to, Rusty, towards the top side map to take down the top lane inner turret.
And again, the tension builds. I feel like EDG are just waiting for RNG to step one toe out of line.
Top lane inner turret's going to fall. EDG have now secured themselves a 10,000 gold advantage against RNG. 32 minutes into this game. Power Convergence threatening a dive again. There is the Weaver's Wall coming out. Deft and Mako locked down in a choke point. Lucas about to turn Mega, but will he get popped first? Does get the ultimate off, but gets taken down next. Seismic Shove does a lot of damage on towards Deft, and the Curtical does get blocked by Mouse. EDG can't quite pop Looper, but still chunked down the front line of RNG, but will have to retreat and can't quite siege the top lane inhibitor turret.
That's pretty much best case scenario for RNG right there. The fact that they locked out both Clear Love as well as Scout, and were still unable to pick up any kills. I mean, their inhib tower as well as the top inhib survive, so I guess that's putting in the good column, but...
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, walking into a Braum and an Echo is asking to be killed as well, so whilst they actually got 2 people out of the equation, they weren't entirely out, but they were out enough that they could at least get some damage down, deter the turrets from falling. Doesn't mean they'll be able to win the fights outright in situations like that.
Well, next big objective coming up is going to be another Infernal Dragon that's up in less than 10 seconds, and already EDG on top of it. Have multiple members on top of this pit, ready to take it down. And
should this game go longer, this also means that the next dragon will be that Elder Drake. Very important to both teams because we will be augmenting an Infernal on either side.
Especially with 2 Infernals being picked up by EDG. We'll want to get all the combat stats that the Elder Drake gets, especially with 3 Dragons picked up, 2 of those being Infernal. And Zlupa now being delegated the split push duty to try and deal with the super minions that are pushing in towards the bottom lane after the inhibitor was taken down on RNG's side of the map.
It's a dangerous game here from RNG. They have to play with absolute perfection, otherwise the game is just outright over.
Which pretty much means all eyes really on Looper and Uzi. Looper needs to make sure that he excels with that Gnar ultimate and keeps Uzi alive to get multiple rotations through his crit.
No Baron buff available for EDG means these minions are fairly weak as they push in towards the base. Easy for RNG to try and clear this one out, but it seems like they found an opening, get some good damage on towards the turret. That's deep from Scout. Looking to go to the back lines. Mata is going to be able to eat up Uzi, but still takes a lot of damage from the assassin. The turret falls. Big Mega Gnar comes out from RNG, but Def, he's just left untouched. He's chunking through the front line. As Scout tries to go to the back lines, but Lupus the first to fall. EDG playing these team fights clinically so far.
And EDG's backline threat is just too great, especially for Jin, who wants to stand still for his ultimate. Now, it didn't even matter that last team fight, but he's competing against both Echo and Zed. What is Uzi supposed to do?
Well, that's all the inhibitors being taken down. EDG marching on towards the Nexus. RNG have to put up their last stand. Mouse taking up the turret. Both Nexus turrets are going to fall shortly. Guardian Angel does get popped by the Echo. They're on top of Mata. He's going to fall.
RNG are holding on almost.
Emma shoots to the next target though. A Scout going to the back line. The Nexus is going to get destroyed. And EDG are at match point against RNG.
And you look at this game, and I really don't know where RNG are meant to take it because the weak links of EDG were hard carries in this second game.
You expect that RNG in times of pressure that they would look towards Uzi and Mata, but it seems like the curse is prevailing. Uzi just cannot win an LPL title. He does have the chance for a reverse sweep here, but he's going to have to go the distance, and he needs to stop dying 2v2 in lane.
And it seems like EDG are just executing that strategy flawlessly so far. Going towards the bottom side map, I think 15 minutes into the game, they made sure that RNG's bottom lane was 0-8 collectively. And they've just been relentless in their pressure on the bottom side of Summoner's Rift.
Yeah, again, it doesn't matter if your strategy is telegraphed. If you do it well enough, there is no counterplay available.
But there's also some slight adaptations to it. We said, you know, the fact that the global presence was on Clearlove this time around as opposed to Scout and how that would adjust the map. Clearlove now back-to-back, his priority in First Bloods have been into that mid lane, which is unexpected. So it's Scout stepping up and it's Clearlove adjusting to meet that.
Well, here's a couple of highlights of that last match. Starts off with First Blood, and it was actually a double kill that came out for EDG as they take down not only the mid laner, but they find the instant spider of MLXG, and they get a kill towards Mako as well.
The most unfortunate thing is how that actually happened, and it was a complete accident, which then sets EDG up for success.
And it's just highlight after highlight in the bottom lane of this match as RNG just get picked on time and time again by multiple members of EDG.
And we have to really talk about Def's arrows as well, as I'm sure you're going to see quite a few highlights of them through this round. This guy, American Sniper so far, I don't think he's missed a single one. He's threading the needle, he's hitting high priority targets. I think he hit Jin out of his ultimate twice, forcing Xiaohu into early hourglasses because he's connecting with them.
You know, so far, Uzi's picked up Caitlyn, he's picked up Jin, the 2 snipers in the Legends. Doesn't matter, Def just does it better with a bow and arrow at the moment, the way he's been using these enchanted crystal arrows. And once, like we said, it's just highlight after highlight in the bottom lane.
Yeah, again, we can only really praise EDG for their performance so far in games number 1 and 2, but there was a hiccup. There was a sign of potential weakness and exploitation, and it's pretty simple. RNG did something proactively.
Yep.
And we almost saw that in game number 1 as well, and it's going to come up shortly, but still, there's going to be Scout picking up members of the top side map. This is where you mentioned Frosco, and EDG had great communication coming into this fight.
Yeah, the target selection to tell Clearlove that he can go deep enough, that they're on their way, that they're able to get there in time. Scout to make the return play, but here we go. Here's the highlight where RNG finally got their foot back in the door.
And it's very similar to what we saw in game number 1. LSG looking for the Baron steal. Didn't get it in game 1, got it in game 2. It almost put RNG back into the game.
Yeah, a team composition designed to fight as a group. They needed to use Xiaohu before he got outscaled by the Zed as well, being Natalia. Again, that snipe from Def was pretty incredible. A solid start from EDG.
And that's not the only team fight where we see him use his Ashe ultimate to kind of single out Jin while he's in the curtain call. But Scout as well, picking up the Zed in this match. Every team fight, he played it phenomenally to make sure that Uzi had such a tough time to position and making sure Mata had to save him over and over and over again.
Target selection is a big issue between RNG and EDG right now. I mean, frankly, you look at Mata and he just kind of looks like a mess throughout these team fights. We said that Kench wasn't necessarily in his wheelhouse. He's much more comfortable on the Braum and the Alistar, and that's where I expect Mata to make the adjustments. I think going into Game 3, we're going to see the Mata Alistar.
We take a look at the MVP for that match. It's going to go over towards the king of the jungle himself. Clearlove picks up an MVP performance, and rightfully so. He had such a huge presence on that game.
Yeah, fantastic performance from Clearlove, very much deserving. They moved the global presence around in game number 2, so it wasn't the mid laner running the Twisted Fate, it was actually the Rek'Sai that had to work around the map, be that global presence. Clearlove did it, he did it incredibly well, and a well-deserved MVP.
I mean, he effectively showed why teams almost permaban Rek'Sai away from EDG every single time, particularly on that blue side, but you can never let Clearlove get his hands on that champion.
And something that you mentioned during the game, Frosco, and really stands out. We came into this one talking about how MLXG has to find Clearlove and shut down the tremendous pressure he can give to EDG's bottom lane. But it just seems like it's the opposite so far in this series. It's been Clearlove has been finding MLXG in his jungle and giving him such a hard time.
And I'm going to sound like a broken record, and I can already see the rest. He's like, okay, I know where this is going. It goes back to the solo lanes. It goes back to Xiaohu. It goes back to Looper. Whether that's matchup, whether that's a miscommunication, or just plain failing to execute, the solo laners are letting MLXG down, and where they're losing pressure, it's bleeding into his jungle, and he's struggling because of it.
Really feels like that's the case so far. Currently, EDG, they're 2-0 up in this best-of-5 series, and just like we saw during cross-conference of the Summer Split group stages of the LPL, it's been one-sided affairs, bar a couple of hiccups in that last game. What can we expect next? Because we kind of wanted RNG to change things up going into this game. They changed a couple of things. They completely changed their bans coming into this match. It just seems like it didn't work.
It's not bans, it's strategy. So what they actually need to change is be aggressive, be the one going forward. You can see that Uzi and Mata want to do it, but the rest of the map's struggling. So look, if it's that difficult for Xiaohu to have a great time, just put him on Victor. You can't go wrong.
Well, with that, EDG are now at match point and looking to try and complete their perfect run of the Summer Split of the LPL. We can find out if they can do it as we come back from a break in just a bit.